Hello and welcome to Principles of Macroeconomics. I am your host, Dr. B, and I am very happy to have all of you with us as we explore the concepts of Principles of Macroeconomics over the next 15 weeks. It is an honor and a pleasure to be here, and right now I'd like to talk to you about the course overview and the way that we structure the course. Okay. So let me go ahead and, oh, there we go. Cute. Okay, here we go. We're going to start with the course overview. This course has been redeveloped. This is a brand new version of Principles of Macroeconomics. This course has been redeveloped with the students in mind. The students are the center of everything that we do, especially here at UDC. So it's important to me that as we redevelop this course, we thought about you and your needs and what you need to take away from this course. And so you'll notice that the course is designed in a very logical way. The first thing you want to do when you get into the classroom is click on this Start Here under Course Content. That's why we call it there. We want you to start there. So you click on the Start Here, and you'll notice that it's broken out very simply with a welcome and course overview, etiquette guidelines, technical requirements, LinkedIn learning activation instructions, information about me, your professor, a link for office hours so you can easily schedule office hours with me by clicking that link. The course map, which helps you to identify the relationship between the course learning objectives to the course learning outcomes that are based, of course, off of the learning objectives. And it shows you how everything's connected and measured. The course syllabus, your reading materials for this course, which is access to the textbook, small icebreaker introductions, an opportunity for you to ask me questions through the discussion forum, and of course the course meeting link, which is probably how you got to me today on our WebEx session. So all of your, we're going to use the same link for every class time, so it's very easy to get to it right through here or through the message that I'll probably send you before each class starts. So that's under the Start Here, which we're going to cover that in more detail here in a second. I just wanted to help you familiarize yourself with the rest of the course layout. The next module is called Student Resources. The student resources to help you to get familiar with Blackboard Ultra, which I'm sure that most of you are probably used to by now, especially if you've had courses with us before. If you're new to UDC, you might be new to Blackboard Ultra, so I do encourage you to walk through that orientation. It's very short. It's just a real simple to get around the classroom. Yeah, very easy. Please make yourself familiar with the classroom. Very important. And of course, we have policies, procedures, and running in a digital setting, which is where we are today. Because this course is an online hybrid type setting, that's why it's important that you understand the different strategies to online and hybrid learning. It's different than being in a digital classroom with me and your peers. So that's why it's important that you understand the differences. So please feel free on your own time to navigate through the student resources. Remaining learning modules are based off of each week. So we are currently in week 1. This is the very first day of the fall 2023 semester here at UDC. And you'll notice that I have the dates specified for each learning module. Today is August 21st, and this first learning module ends on August 27th. So that's a full week. And it's called week 1 for the obvious reason. It's the first week of the course. You'll notice that all of the modules are laid out in a very same way. Okay, So each module tells you what week it is, the date that it is, and then the title is related to what it is that you're learning in that week. So you'll open up the week 1 area, and you'll notice that it's broken out like this. The first is called Week at a Glance. If you select that, it opens up and it will show you a very brief overview for what we'll learn this week. And then, of course, it'll have your learning objectives. These are what we expect that you will get out of this week. These little indications here help you to map the course learning objectives back to, the module learning objectives back to the course level objectives. And then the last part you'll see is what you have to do this week. So you'll notice that you'll have to read the chapter, review the PowerPoint presentation, there's a discussion forum, and then you will complete a quiz on the chapter. And this part tells you the module learning objectives are being measured by each activity. So that's the week at a glance. When you come down, you'll notice the instructional materials. When you click on the instructional materials document, it opens up like this. It tells you what you need to read. And then I've also included a direct link to the PowerPoint presentation. So you can either open it up in line or you can download it, whatever you want to do, whatever's easiest for you. I did it this way because I wanted to make it easy for you to be able to take notes, right? So the PowerPoint presentation is there, and then of course I've written out a relatively brief high-level overview of the individual components that we'll cover. And then in most weeks, maybe not all weeks, there might be a YouTube video or a LinkedIn Learning video for you to watch. This helps to accompany and reinforce what it is that you're learning in that respective week. So it's the instructional materials. Then we'll come down to the engage and explore. This folder always indicates some type of interaction for you to have with your classmates. Each week you'll be interacting either through a discussion board or what we call a hypothesis, where you'll do annotation, or you'll watch a video and annotate the video. I've tried my best to make this as interactive as possible because it's important that in the learning process, you're learning from your peers through interaction. That is a really important way for you to learn the information, is by practicing it and by talking about it, and that's why discussion boards are so important in the learning process. So all of these are, of course, required, and they're graded. So it's important that you interact with all of the engage and explore for each week. And then the last part is called action and expression. And within here is going to be your quiz or an exam, whatever is correlated with that week. The midterm exam, I think, is in week 8, and the final exam is in week 16. But each chapter has a corresponding quiz. So it's important that you also complete the quiz for each week. It's, I know that some people get test anxiety or quiz anxiety. I try to make your life, again, as easy as possible. So each quiz, you have 2 attempts to earn the highest grade possible. And of course, they're not very long, so it's usually only a couple of questions. But we'll talk more about that as time goes on. So each week is structured that very same way. So I try to make it as uniform and as easy to follow as possible. And the reason why they're designed this way is because they help to meet what we call Quality Matters standards. And Quality Matters is a certifying board that verifies that the course is of rigor, is of quality, and is, of course, equitable for all students. So that's just some logic behind the design process. So if we come back up to the Start Here area, as you move through each area, it will talk about the overview of the course. you'll see the course overview, which is a description of the course learning objectives, the course purpose, the course structure. That talks about the various components of each course. For example, right now we're in an in-person session, although it's through Zoom, we still consider this to be in person. There are some LinkedIn Learning components embedded. At the end, there's of course evaluation, that kind of thing. So please take your time to read through that information. I think you'll find it useful. And of course, communication expectations. This part's relatively important. So I always respond to my students' emails, messages, questions, usually within about 24 hours or less. Okay, you'll notice that about me in comparison to maybe some of your other professors. I'm always quick to respond. And the reason for that is because your email goes right to my cell phone. My cell phone's always with me. I'm usually quick to answer your question. Yeah. And you can ask me a question about anything. Anything about the course, anything about what you're learning, anything about your career, whatever it is. Okay. I'll do my absolute best to answer your question. And if I can't answer it, I'll find somebody who can. Okay. My goal is to support you in all of your endeavors, and that's why it's important that you understand this. All of the assignments have very clear instructions. I have virtual office hours, so feel free to set up time to meet with me. I will grade your work and provide feedback within 4 days or less of the due date. Yes. Interacting with each other is very important, so please, do the best you can to interact with each other. In terms of technology, as long as you have internet access, you can access this course from pretty much anywhere and pretty much on any device. Of course, we recommend that you use a laptop or a desktop, but you could probably access it on your cell phone, but just know that there might be limited access on a cell phone. The best way to communicate with me is either through messaging on Blackboard or by email. So that way we have a written log of it. But of course, you can also set up office hours with me. You can also call or text me. That's fine too. Just know if you text me, make sure that you include your name in your class, because I don't always answer random numbers. Yep. So just like the rest of you, I'm sure. So yeah, so feel free to read through all of that. It's really important that you kind of understand, and this is found under Welcome Course Overview. Connecticut Guidelines just kind of talks about the proper ways to interact with each other and with me. So feel free to look through that. Of course, technical requirements just helps you to identify what type of technology you need. Again, the majority of devices already has a lot of this embedded, so you should be fine. When it comes to email, it's only through your UDC email account. Please do not send any emails from any other account. It has to be through your UDC email account. That's important to understand that. Is embedded in this course. And so I would strongly encourage you to make sure that you have an active LinkedIn.com account, which is, it's not social media, so don't think of it as like Facebook or whatever. It's not that. This is a professional platform for you to be able to tell employers about yourself, to tell professionals about yourself, to network with those professionals, and of course to learn. So that's why we require that you activate a LinkedIn Learning account. And the reason for that is all of our courses now, especially this one, and all of my accounting courses, you can earn certificates by going through what we call mini lectures. You earn a certificate, you can post that on your LinkedIn account. It tells employers that you're certified in certain things. And of course, do it for a grade. So that's why it's important that you sign up for your LinkedIn account if you've not done so already. We can talk more about that later as we get closer to our first LinkedIn activity. Some professors require you to have your camera on. I don't. It's totally up to you. It's whatever you're comfortable with. Yeah. And of course, if you ever need technical support, we have our UDC IT team who is always there to help. They're getting better, so that's good. For LinkedIn learning activation instructions, if you're new to LinkedIn or if you need help getting set up, please go through, watch this very short video, and there's also a PDF of step-by-step how to activate. It's only 9 steps. It's very easy to do. So please, over the next day or two, just make sure that you're up and running on LinkedIn by following these instructions. The instructor information is just a very short bio about myself. This is my phone number. This is my cell phone number, okay? So please be respectful of my cell phone. Again, if you want to text me, that's cool. I'm fine with that. Just make sure you tell me who you are and what class you're in. Because I'm not going to know otherwise, right? Office hours are here, Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. Very easy to set up office hours with me. Just click on the link. It opens up my Calendly, and you just select the day that you want to meet in blue, then select the time. And then you just fill out the form. It's really easy. It only takes you about a minute to set up office hours with me. Well, what I do, I screw up. Sorry. But yeah, it's very easy to set up office hours with me. The office hours link is also right here. The next one is called a course map. As I mentioned earlier, what this is it helps you to identify the course learning objectives being covered in that week. They are related to the module learning objectives, and of course, where you're learning each objective through a question on a quiz or the discussion board, or et cetera, et cetera. I don't mean to bore you to death with this stuff. It's just I want you to really understand why you're learning what you're learning. I'm not one of those professors that just says, "Oh, I want you to learn this because you have to." Well, no, there's a reason why you're learning it, right? And I want you to know what that reason is. So that's why this course map exists. So take some time, read through that. Yeah, nothing fancy. The syllabus. The syllabus is probably one of the most important documents of any course. And the reason for that is because it's kind of acts as a roadmap. It's hard to get from point A to point B without a map, especially if it's somewhere you've never been. So the syllabus, and again, I'm not going to read all this stuff to you because I know you guys know how to read, so we're not going to do that. But I want to highlight a couple of really important pieces of information about the syllabus, and that is here. So coming down, the course objectives, very important because this is what you're being measured off of, and it's important that you understand these elements. Coming down, the required textbook. The textbook has been updated to the 2021 version of the book, which is the current and most latest version of this textbook. It's a 9th edition. It's written by Mankiw. It's 2021 print. And it's offered through Cengage, I believe. So it's important that you get access to the book. If you have trouble accessing the book, let me know right away. So that way I can connect you with the bookstore manager to make sure you get the access. Okay. I believe, and correct me if I'm wrong, my understanding is that UDC is still offering these textbooks to the students through the bookstore at no cost. Is that I think there's a technology fee now or something like that. Is that true and accurate still? Can anyone tell me if that sounds right?
I think so.
Yeah, I think so too. It sounds right to me, Brandon. So hopefully that's still true. If it's not, let me know. Um, uh, try to access the textbook today if you can, or definitely by tomorrow, just to make sure that it works. It's really important they make sure that it works. And I'll show you how to do that here through the classroom. Everything is on Blackboard. You don't need to worry about going to MindTap or Cengage except to access the textbook. So all of your assignments, discussions, quizzes, exams, and all of the content is right here on Blackboard. Everything can be done right here through Blackboard. So don't worry about going to another website or some other avenue. The only exception to that is for LinkedIn, to make sure that you have a LinkedIn account. But that's the only outside resource you'll be using for this course. There's some additional supplemental materials I might tell you about. Like I might send you an article from a newspaper or a YouTube video or whatever, just to kind of reinforce what it is that we're learning that week. But other than that, everything is accessible right here in the classroom, so you don't have to go too far. This is probably the most important area of the syllabus, as I think it is with most other courses, and that is how your points are broken down. The way we build courses now, or at least the way that I build courses, is everything's based off of a 1,000-point scale. The best way to understand how a 1,000-point scale works is 900 to 1,000 points is an A. It's the same as saying 90 to 100. It's the same thing. It's just we put an extra zero on. Yeah. The reason why it's designed that way is because there's a lot of things going on in this course that you'll notice. There's 8 discussion boards. There are 7 hypothesis annotations. 16 quizzes. That's because there's 1 per chapter. 16 chapters. There's a midterm exam and a final exam. The quizzes, there are 2 attempts quizzes, so it gives you an opportunity to get a higher grade if you're not satisfied with the first time around. And of course, each question provides you with feedback, so it'll help you to do better on that second attempt. Yeah. So that's kind of the point breakdown. You'll notice that I respond very quickly to your questions. I provide grading within 4 days or less of the due date. Every submission has a due date for pretty much everything. Yeah. It's important that you submit on time, please. Try your best not to be late with anything. There's a lot of work in this course. On average, it takes between 15 and 20 hours of work per week for each course at UDC. That's about the average, yeah? So just kind of understand that there's a time commitment involved every week, yeah? And it's based off of a 1,000-point scale. So 900 to 1,000 is an A, 800 to 890 is a B, so forth and so on. I believe my understanding is that you need a C or higher on this course. If you're a graduate student, it's a B or higher, but I believe all of you are undergraduate students, so a C or higher is required to pass this course. As we scroll down, you'll notice I'm sorry, I didn't put the dates in, but so we're here in week 1, required readings, and then what's going on during that week, discussion board, quiz. So that's what's due by Sunday night. There's a discussion board and a quiz. Next week, we'll do a hypothesis assignment, and you'll have 2 quizzes. So forth and so on. So that's kind of how the syllabus is broken down. So take your time, read it, understand it. It's important that you really grasp these things. Questions so far? We're doing okay. If you ever have questions and you're on the call, feel free to unmute your mic and ask your question. Okay, it's totally cool if you interrupt me. I'm fine with that. I want you to know that. Okay. So I'm not like one of those professors who just kind of talks. I want you guys to talk too, yeah. Okay, so that's the syllabus. Please read through it. The book, access the book. Click on this Brightwave course materials link. It should should open the book. Hopefully. So I want you today, if you can, today or tomorrow, definitely, click on that link, Brightwave link, and see if your book is there. And it should look like this. The cover looks like this. Yeah, it's kind of like a purple and black lettering with a nice young lady and some other background. It says Principles of Macroeconomics. It should be the ninth edition of the book. Yep. You know, and you should just be able to open it right from there. It should be that easy. You don't have to leave Blackboard to access your stuff. I don't know if this book is downloadable. I don't think it is, but you can still access it from Blackboard. There's a Blackboard app for your phone. If you don't have it already, I recommend you get it. The Blackboard app or the UDC app. Definitely get that for your phone if you don't have it already, just so you can access it when you're traveling, while you're at work or whatever. But it's there. So please make sure that you try to access the book today or tomorrow. If you cannot or don't have access to it for whatever reason, please send me an email, and I will connect you with the bookstore manager, and we'll get that straightened out right away. Yeah, really important. And then, of course, coming down, we have the introductions, which I see a lot of you are active in, and I really do appreciate that. A quick introduction about yourself, your name, all that fun stuff, just in case, I forget something about you. I don't think I'll forget, but, it's great if you introduce yourself there as well. Not required, it's just, I recommend it. If you have a question about anything about the course, click this Ask the Instructor and ask me your question, and I will respond to your question. The reason why I created this form is because some of you might have the same question. Yeah, it happens. And then if I respond, great, we got it down. Yeah, I'll respond to that as soon as I see it. Yeah. So that is, in a very brief setting, the overview of the course. Any questions, comments, concerns? Good so far? Yes, no, maybe, yeah? Okay, cool, thank you. Oscar, we're good?
Yeah. Sorry, just a quick question.
Yeah,
I haven't had enough time to check my Blackboard. So the book is already there on Cengage on a better wait.
yes, it should be there right away. So the best way for you to access it, Oscar, is go into Blackboard, click on the Start Here, and then come down to where it says Brightwave Course Materials.
Okay.
If you click on that, it should open up your book.
All right. Got
Okay.
it. I haven't.
If it doesn't, let me know. So that way I can get it fixed for you.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, that's the best way to do it. You don't have to worry about going through the Cengage website or anything like that.
All right. Thanks, Professor.
You're welcome. Great question. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and stop this part of the recording, and then I'll start with chapter 1, if you're all okay with that. It'll take us maybe about 20 minutes that we have left to get through chapter 1. So let's go ahead and knock it out. So let me go ahead and stop this part of the recording, and I'll start the next one. Thank you so much for your patience.